Hey there, this is Devin, and today we are looking at Encased. Let's see, VSync is on. Ultra, we should be able to do, I think I should be able to do Ultra on this game. Shadows. Hard shadows are better than, quote, better than soft shadows? Is that not correct? Yeah, it looks like they're either off or soft, but maybe we should be able to do hard shadows here. Wait. And crank these things up. Maybe this will completely tank the performance, but let's give it a shot. Oh, did I? I didn't apply this. Okay, I will make sure the recording is still capturing. Looks like it is. Okay. This is another game I have not played. This could turn out to be horrifically bad for my format, I'm not sure. You know, I might actually go with Journey on this one, because I find
1971. We woke up in a different world, where the Cold War ended along with the Vietnam carnage.
I'll let this play.
All because of the Dome. The Dome. A territory full of anomalous artifacts, phenomena, and organisms. We still don't know what it is. An alien city? Some kind of a testing ground or storage? Whatever it is, no living thing trapped under the Dome can escape it. Yet even this did not stop the research. The major powers created the Cronus Mega Corporation to develop and explore the Dome. Its secrets became a lucrative business. The Spires station was built on top of the Dome to export the artifacts and import supplies and personnel. The city of Crystal Sands grew at the foot of the Dome, eventually becoming a major transportation hub. All this required thousands of employees, and there was no shortage of candidates. Romantics, pragmatists, and adventurers of all trades swarmed recruiting centers around the globe, seeking jobs at Cronus. You were one of those people. In 1976, your application was approved, and you went under the Dome towards the future. Whether a good one or a bad one, only time will tell.
Honestly, I didn't expect any voiceover in this game, and I kind of suspect we still won't have any in the in-game dialogue. But that's kind of neat that they sprung for voiceover in the intro. I like that. Who do we want to be? What are we actually picking here? We're picking a trait? A wing. And it doesn't have a tooltip, so I don't know what the wing does. We've got a pre-made character story, and then we've got some attributes. What is guts? Yeah, my understanding of what this is that it is an isometric RPG inspired by Fallout. There are quite a few characters to choose from. Oh, I'm kind of liking this one. Amelie. Polnareff. Amelie has always been quite average in her profession, but she knew how to make friends, including very influential ones. The ability to evoke sympathy in people often helped her in life and work. It helped this time too. Amelie was accepted into Cronus and went right under the Dome. I kind of like this. She's not spectacular at anything, but I like the balance of charisma and brains. I'm always drawn to charisma in these games because I think the conversations are the things I find most interesting, more interesting than the combat. And I'm not gonna really know what all these will actually mean in practice. Trait is Slacker. +2 perk points and -3 skill points when leveling up. Huh. I'm just gonna jump in. I'm just gonna try it. The 2D portrait doesn't... I don't know. It doesn't quite seem to match up to the 3D model. It's pretty close, but... Interacting with different characters is an important part of the game. To start a dialogue, click on the character, and if they are set to talk to you, a dialogue interface will show up. From conversations, you can find out valuable plot information, clues, and even receive tasks. Choose your lines carefully. Careless words can cause resentment or provoke a fight. Okay. Let's, so I guess we're on our way in.
A guy wearing thick spectacles thrusts out a sweaty hand.
Monty James, Silverwing.
We do have voice dialogue. Very cool.
He glances down at your badge.
Ah, it's you. I found your file extremely interesting, and your CV wonderful. Inspiring, really. When I had the opportunity to look over the files of my future colleagues, I couldn't resist. I don't want to sound boastful, but silver level clearance has its advantages.
Monty winks.
What did you
Monty
see?
makes a ring with his thumb and forefinger.
You were number 63,784 on the waiting list, but you were lucky enough to get into the dome after only 16 months. Besides that, zero, nada, absolutely nothing. You're a dark horse for both the Foundation and myself. How exactly did you end up in this wing?
I kind of like this one. Admit that you see this as an opportunity to participate in mankind's greatest experiment.
Oh, I see. Well, if you ever decide to sew together a Frankenstein's monster from the bodies of dead oranges, be sure to let me know.
The Silver laughs at his own joke, alone.
Hmm.
An uncomfortable silence rises between you, and Monty abruptly changes the subject.
It seems like they're going for the sort of Big Bang Theory brand of nerd with this character.
He taps the narrow illuminator panel with one finger.
Look, there's a storm rising. The lightning is strange. Green. Should lightning be green? This is my first sandstorm.
General term for a variety of physico-chemical phenomena of uncertain nature endemic to the dome. Is that what I'm supposed to see here? Why does it say anomaly at the top? Does it think I'm hovering the word anomaly? I'm not sure what I'm looking at there. Okay.
The orange is dressed in a new jumpsuit. The shiny badge on his chest reads, Quenton Bisley, laborer. He's side-eyeing the screen skeptically. Despite his tired, grim expression, his gaze is open and friendly. However, the general impression is unmistakable. There's something frightening about Bisley.
How he ended up in prison? How do I know that he's in prison? Are we in prison? What? I feel like I've missed something here. Let's ask about the bracelets.
Quenton raises his hands to examine the devices.
They call them humane handcuffs. How about that? Truth is, there ain't nothing humane about them. They zap you real hard the moment you get your hands on a gun. But they sure look nice.
Bisley lowers his hands again and smirks.
Yeah, see these, well, it's not exactly the same term that I'm hovering, but it's close. The other one was a different word altogether, although a similar word. A modern restraining device used while transporting Orange Wing employees consists of 2 small steel bracelets with built-in taser that delivers a shock if the wearer handles or attempts to use a firearm. Taser is a brand name, isn't it? It's not just a... Like the generic term would be like a stun gun or something, but taser is actually a brand, which makes it seem a little weird that they're using it here, lowercase. I think that's right anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's ask about
Orange's
prison.
face stretches into a broad smile, bearing his dentures to the world.
Like everyone, duh. In a black car, under guard.
No, you must know that's not the question I was asking.
There's other guys, too. The ones who go through the front door.
He nods at the black-winged woman beside him. Her nose wrinkles in displeasure, but she says nothing.
Okay, I feel like I didn't really understand that.
A tall woman is watching an ad playing on the monitor, arms crossed. The polished to a shine badge on her black overalls reads, Elsa Olson, Security Service.
Okay. Blackwing. Okay. So I guess when you hover, it doesn't necessarily give you the exact term. It's going to give you a synonym that captures the meaning in the context. It's a little confusing, the way they've done this. Cronus Armed Forces deployed for military and police operations for those who love uniforms, guns, and the smell of napalm in the morning.
She glances at you and offers her hand in a businesslike manner.
Greetings. Please take all necessary precautions. By that I mean, don't turn your back on him.
Elsa nods at the orange.
What's so dangerous about him?
I just follow orders. Even if his crime was embezzlement, I have to keep him cuffed. Those are the rules.
Olson shrugs in a sharp, mechanical way, as if racking the slide of an assault rifle.
Okay. I think I'm starting to understand what's happening here. So he is a prisoner. He's being escorted by her. It would have maybe been nice, though, if they had a slightly gentler way to introduce me, the player, to that idea.
Our friends from the administration didn't deign to inform me about this man's record. Could be I'm escorting a serial killer. It's corporate policy, you know.
She gives the silver a vengeful look.
Okay.
A man with a mustache and a blue jumpsuit is standing at the window, studying the construction site below through the occasional break in the clouds. His badge reads Igor Patan, planner. The blue taps on the glass with one finger and gestures you to come and take a look. Seems like he doesn't speak English.
Sure, let's try this.
Using sign language, mimicry, and all of your artistic talent, you're able to communicate with the planner.
Nice.
Once he's sure you're watching, Patanin points up in the direction of Spire Station, from which you departed a few minutes ago.
Spire, the transit station built around the aperture at the top of the dome, relics are moved up to it, and capsules with new employees, food, and equipment descend from it.
He sketches the outline of the station on a broad, foggy section of glass. Once he's finished, the blue turns to you with a delighted expression.
Ask him about how the station functions.
With a series of confident strokes, the planner delineates the capsule's movement scheme, drivetrain, and massive hydraulic brakes on the glass.
Okay. What about the purpose?
This time, Igor is quite laconic. He pauses, then confidently writes cargo and personnel in block letters, and draws an arrow pointing downward. Beside it, he writes relics and draws an arrow pointing up. His R is turned back to front.
Okay.
The engineer stops you with a gesture, and after rummaging through his pockets, offers you a small candy. There is a picture of a crayfish on the white wrapper. Is this candy crayfish flavored?
I think I want to be polite.
It's surprisingly spongy and tooth-achingly sweet. You can only wonder what it has to do with crayfish.
We've picked up a status effect. Various actions such as eating food or taking medicines may impose certain status effects on you. They can last for different times and be positive or negative. Some attacks and abilities can also apply a status effect that changes the characteristics of the target. For example, bleeding or poisoning will gradually reduce health. Okay. I can activate stealth, crayfish candy, +3 initiative. Huh. Interesting. Let's talk to Tomoko.
The thin, pale young woman is sitting at the window, leaning against the illuminator. The glass is slightly fogged with her breath. She turns to you. Her shiny badge reads Tomo Kamura, physiologist.
We've crossed the border. No way back now. Even traveling by the funicular wasn't so thrilling.
The white presses small hands to her blushing cheeks.
A funicular. The city of Crystal Sands, standing at the foot of the dome, and the Spire Station are connected by the line of the passenger and freight funicular. Specially equipped cabins ply along the line laid directly on the surface of the dome, transporting Cronus, Foundation employees, and cargo. Okay.
You were thinking, why have no children been born under the dome? I've got a working hypothesis, but I'm not ready to share it yet.
She says softly, as if answering a question you didn't ask.
Let's ask if she sees the dark stain on the outer surface of the dome.
Kimura peers through the glass in the direction you indicate.
Oh, that's the aircraft that crashed into the dome during the first expedition. I believe that's a wing fragment, and there's some white canvas. What do you think that is? Maybe a parachute?
The white shakes her head, bewildered.
I just can't believe it. It's all true. We're on our way to meet the future.
Let's ask what she meant by "we've crossed the border."
Kimura shoots you a surprised look.
You're familiar with the details of the briefing, right? To put it simply, the dome is a selectively permeable environment.
Dome, the most famous and most ambitious creation of the forefathers, indestructible and semi-impervious to living matter. The dome covers about 30,000 square kilometers of desert.
The white draws an invisible hemisphere in the air.
Inorganic objects may exit the dome without difficulty, but any living creature dies if transported back to the outside world. That's why we're all stuck here for an indefinite period of time.
Wow. Dome border. The dome is characterized by its selective permeability. Cargo and personnel are moved inside through the aperture at the apex of the dome. Damaged equipment, dangerous waste, and relics exit this way as well. As for living beings, any attempt to leave the dome ends in death. The trip here is a one-way ticket, but that doesn't stop the daredevils. We'll wonder aloud why things happen that way.
Kamura is eyeing the dome's mesh, glittering in the sunlight.
Supposedly, it's something to do with the atmospheric composition, but it's a weak theory. The difference of the air within the dome is so insignificant as to fall within the margin of error. Or to put it more simply, there is no difference.
She shoots a quick glance at the silver and lowers her voice.
I heard a rumor, or a conspiracy theory, that we can leave the dome at any time. We've simply been told we can't. If you ever decide to test this hypothesis, don't forget to leave me something in your will.
This is a trope I have heard before in science fiction, and there is a book I at least started reading. I don't think I finished it, but I guess kind of the central premise of it was that people were trapped and being told that they couldn't go out, but actually they could.
Stopping by the door's porthole, you watch as the ground slowly approaches. It looks brown-black through the tinted glass and smoky blue at the horizon. It almost seems like the clouds are pulling apart there. You scan the desert for any sign of the anomalies you've heard so much about. A flat, dark form hangs in the air above the horizon. It vaguely resembles a mushroom cloud, but with a much denser structure. In the distance, you can also see a strange, apparently man-made wall rising from the sand. All the radio ads and TV shows were telling the truth. This place really was made for those who place their trust in science. Just as you're about to move away from the window, you notice a whirlwind beginning to form above the ochre plain. The gathering storm drifts unhurriedly above the desert, a crown of green lightning flashing at its core. Clearly no ordinary weather phenomenon. It must be one of those anomalies. You freeze by the window, unable to avert your gaze.
Sandstorms. The desert under the dome is not very hospitable and sandstorms here are quite common. Many scientists from the White Wing associate them with abnormal activity, but there is no direct evidence for this. On the subject of weather anomalies, we experienced an earthquake here recently. It was the epicenter was some distance away, but it was surprisingly strong, probably the strongest earthquake I've ever been in. It was enough to sort of shake my water around in my glass. So what do we want to do here? Stand up on your tiptoes and try to make out the buildings below. Stay that way until landing. Stay where you are, trying to see if you can spot the mysterious forefather structures until landing. Or stay at the window and watch the whirlwind. I mean, that would be... I would think that would be the most attention-grabbing thing going on. So I would probably naturally gravitate towards watching that.
The outlines of the landing site, blurred by clouds of dust, appear behind the greenish glass of the porthole. The capsule shudders as the braking devices engage.
Newcomer to Concord. That is us. Camera control. Okay, we can pan it with WSAD and rotate with E and Q. And then we have zooming. I don't think I'll ever use those keys for zooming. I'll probably just use the Scroll wheel for that. Hey, sure enough, it works just like they said.
Come here. Come on now, or you'll miss everything.
A cheerful man in a white lab coat grabs you by the sleeve. A badge reading Ludovico Nuzzi, scientific analyst, export department, dangles loosely on his clean uniform, which still smells pungently of washing powder.
Look over there.
He points upward with a sharp, wide gesture and hands you his field binoculars.
Sure, let's take a
You
look.
raise the binoculars to your eyes. Under fourfold magnification, the whirling cloud above the rust-colored plains looks even stranger. Its core glows with flickering green light and flashes rhythmically, and that rhythm seems to form a complicated pattern. Nuzzi bends close to your ear.
Fascinating. Do you want me to bring some filters? If we intercept the red and blue spectrums, we'll see something amazing. It's like a signal, some kind of message.
I'm gonna have to take a quick break, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Let's ask what it is that we're looking at.
I don't know.
Ludovico laughs unnervingly and snatches the binoculars from your hands. With the binoculars raised to his eyes, he minutely adjusts the focus.
It's a massive whirlwind north of Concord, and not merely some desert sandstorm. That's an anomaly. I hope it lasts long enough for me to make a proper observation.
Let's ask him what scientific analysis export department
The
means.
scientist looks blankly at you, then down at his lab coat.
Ah, this? This?
He lets out a blaring laugh. Ludovico points at the building behind him.
I work in Concord Station, categorizing relics. My job is to classify them by rarity. Then the blues package them, silvers issue the documentation, and oranges move them to the cargo capsule. Just like the one you arrived in.
Okay. A relic is an object of forefathers' material culture. Usually comes from a dark and mysterious dungeon. Okay.
Nuzzi points upward.
Then the capsule takes the relics way up there, all the way to the spire, then to crystal sands by the funicular. They get auctioned off and turned into money. It's not like I endorse this, but we all like ourselves a good paycheck, right?
Crystal Sands, a city at the foot of the dome. It is from here fresh provisions, weapons, equipment, and new Cronus employees are delivered to the Spire station. I also think this is a funny way to put this. They get auctioned off and turned into money. It makes it sound like there is some sort of alchemy-like process being performed on them that makes them become money.
He offers you his binoculars once again.
Do you want to have a look at the spire? It's amazing. But then you can look at the spire anytime. Now that sandstorm, that's what's truly amazing.
I think I need to go.
Nuzzi looks from you to the capsule and to the landing terminal entrance. He flings his arms up.
Oh, mi scusi. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You'd better get going or you'll be late for check-in. Your colleagues are already inside, and the storm is growing stronger. Yeah, the storm is growing stronger.
The white mutters in fascination, eyes glued to his binoculars, which is fixed on the spinning whirl of clouds.
This is really nice, the way it has the dialogue over here. The dialogue is spoken, and then here you have a visual. This, to me, is a lot more powerful than just seeing the isometric view while this stuff's happening. one, it's a neat style, but two, it gives you a better idea of what your character is actually seeing right now. Alright, let's get indoors. How do we actually do that? First, I'll have to wake up my keyboard. Okay. I've fussed about this before, but this Razer wireless keyboard is really junk. Like the 2.4 gigahertz ought to be super reliable and just isn't. Throughout the game, you will perform various tasks, some of which lead you through the story, as well as others that reveal different aspects of life under the dome. You can always find out the task status and read the details in the data section, which we get to with the L key. Okay. I wonder what this timestamp is. Newcomer to Concord. We've reached our destination. First task is to register at reception. You should receive further instructions there. Okay. Oh, we've got a vending machine that we can actually interact with. I just want to see. Okay. The semi-transparent light panel of the Vega Drinks vending machine is adorned with the silhouette of a dancing go-go girl. There's a list of products for sale inside the illuminated recess in the right part. Cherry-flavored chow. Beef-flavored noodle. Yeah, that's a drink flavor. Wayward cigarettes? Like, oh no, it's a pack of them. Oh, okay, this is a pack too, so not everything in here is a drink. We're not buying cigarette-flavored drinks. Ugh. Even just the thought of it is almost too much. Okay. And another drink machine here. We can sit in any of these chairs. I want to see what that's like.
Just right, Mr. Monty James. With luck like yours, I wouldn't spend any money on the lottery.
Oh, this is our friend we were talking to earlier in the elevator. Huh. What is she doing with her hand? What are they both doing with their hands? A little bit odd there. Oh, I can search the trash can. But while I sit here, can you you can't tilt the camera, it looks like. Looks like you're at this angle. Probably not necessary, but I was curious if that was possible. While we're here, let me give you a little bit of my history with the CRPG genre. My first CRPG, I would say, that I remember playing was The Elder Scrolls Daggerfall. I was pretty young, and I only had experience with console RPGs at that time. Had played some Final Fantasies and maybe Chrono Trigger and stuff like that. I think I played it kind of late, not when it was brand new, but that was quite a rude awakening. I was not prepared for the level of openness in a CRPG after having only played console RPGs. And I think it didn't quite really click for me until Morrowind. And even that was a struggle. But, and I would say I'm still coming around to the openness in CRPGs. I'm just going to look around here while I blab on for a minute. Still coming to grips with that. I love the idea of them. I can enjoy them for a little while. And
As you can see, there are endless
honestly, it's incredibly rare that one of them grabs me enough to get me through it. Mostly because of my attention span and also because they're so long. But I did play through Fallout 3 in its entirety. I have tried the original isometric Fallout games, and I think it's a combination of not having been there for them when they were new, so not being able to sort of forgive some of the parts of them that are some of the rough edges, like the, I would say, like the user experience type stuff that's a little bit rough, just because I don't know, just user experience in games was a little bit rougher in general back in the 90s. So I've never quite gotten very far into those, although I have wanted to.
Hello, come up to the desk, please. I'll register you.
But this seems like a nice middle ground. Like, it's still that style of RPG, but it's got the voiced dialogue, which I appreciate. The UI seems pretty nice.
A tall receptionist watches you from behind his desk with a bored, haughty look. He waves impatiently at you to approach. The employee glances at you indifferently. His upper lip is ever so slightly curled in contempt.
All new employees must register first thing. Come up to the desk, please.
The nameplate on the desk tells you you're talking with Dean Rayhet, administrator. The administrator slaps himself on the forehead.
Ah, I almost forgot the regulation pre-registration greeting. Just a second.
I guess if I had anything to say about the voiceover, I wish the narrator was maybe a little bit more neutral. There's something about his delivery that's a little bit odd for a narrator. But for the most part, the voiceover seems fine. I don't think anybody's going to win any awards, but it's totally serviceable from my perspective.
Rayhet produces a reel-to-reel tape recorder from beneath the desk, rewinds the tape to the beginning, and presses play. The speakers explode with a harsh, crackling sound, over which the tick-tick of a metronome slowly grows louder. Solemn music begins to play, and the administrator's face takes on a serious expression.
Dear employee, on behalf of the Cronus Foundation, I, Administrator Dean Rayhet, welcome you to your new life under the dome.
Nice.
The administrator clears his throat and continues.
By joining our company, you choose the path of science and progress. You are among mankind's best, and we ask that you live up to this.
Dean squints down at the monitor.
Deserve this title. Do your job honestly. Obey the law. Respect your colleagues and...
The music fades, and the administrator finishes his speech.
And together we will build the best possible future for all mankind.
Dean puts the tape recorder away.
Now that we're done with the official greeting, I'll register you and upgrade your Selectron. Okay?
Selectron. Electronic key and ID. A computer program embedded in the Selectron grants access to certain areas depending on your wing and rank. Okay. Wing, I guess, roughly translates to your job in the dome. That's how it seems anyway. What should I do after registration?
Dean frowns, irritated.
I'll explain everything once I've got you registered.
Okay.
Dean stabs impatiently at the terminal keyboard.
Name and age, please.
Dean's hands hover over the keyboard. He gives you a nod.
Let's pass a note with the written information. Maybe that would be easier.
The administrator squints at the paper in his outstretched hand before setting it next to the keyboard and entering the information into the database.
He doesn't seem especially pleasant to interact with either, so maybe this could minimize that.
Greyhet scans the computer screen.
So your position in the waiting list was 63,784. You've been assigned to Magellan Station. A special bus will bring you there after a series of briefings. Please pass me your Selectron so I can update the firmware.
Oh, Selectron. No, Selectron.
Dean snaps the docking port of your pass to a recess in the casing of his computer. The administrator returns your Selectron.
Cronus was founded as a society of scientists and military professionals. White Wingers have special privileges at most of the original locations built in 71 and 72. And there are still purely white zones in Magellan too. Limited access laboratories, operating rooms, the morgue, warehouses, some parts of the reactor. I think you'll like it.
I've forgotten which wing I am, but I'm assuming he's telling me this because I'm White Wing.
Dean continues.
All new employees have a short list of tasks to perform on arrival. Do you want to hear all the details or just the short version?
Let's go with the short version.
Greyhet snorts.
To make it short, get your uniform from storage, your weapons from the armory, pass the Psi abilities test, and complete your weapons training at the training zone. Then learn how to use the scanner, avoid anomalies, and properly catalog anything you observe. Last, go to the waiting room and wait for the bus to Magellan.
Dean sits back in his armchair.
That's it. I hope there aren't any questions.
No more questions.
Greyhet claps his hands in satisfaction.
Great.
He reaches for the tape recorder, but thinks better of it.
Protocol calls for a little welcoming preamble, but dash it all, that's nonsense. Welcome to Concord Station.
As he's about to turn away, Dean suddenly remembers something.
Oh yes, I sent your mail to your Kairos. Check your new messages. Well, that's all, I think.
This should be explained. I don't know what a Kairos is. Messages sent to you by various game characters are stored in the messages section of your Kairos. I guess that's just like the user interface I can pop up on the screen. Messages from some employees' computers also end up there. All new messages are in the inbox tab, and after reading are moved to the archive tab. How do we get to that? Oh, this is my character. Can I see which wing I am here? I don't see it. Wing, White Wing. Yep, so that's why I was given that. Is it in data? That's the quests. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, that's what he's already told me. These are the tutorials we've encountered so far. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is really exciting. It just seems like there's so much here. So much to do. How can we use the TV set? Cronus propaganda videos are playing on every channel. What's in this container? A hacking software package. And a reagent box. What do I have? A third letter from Cronus. And some combons, which is apparently the currency. Let's take all that stuff. Can you like... Oh yeah, you can hold Alt to show everything that's interactable. Nice. Well, all the objects that are interactable, but not the people. What's in this box? Matches. I guess we'll take that. Not sure if that's useful.
Behind the storage counter, you see a small, neat guy. His gingery hair shines with something like brilliantine. His badge says, Sidney Maynard, storekeeper.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better
Okay.
Oh, what a lovely angel. Came down from the heavens. Good morning, my lady. Is it something urgent? By the way, my name's Sidney. My friends call me Sid, though I prefer a different name. Want me to whisper it to you?
He smiles languidly, leaning on his elbows against the counter. The effect is more laugh-inducing than playful.
Ugh. I don't especially feel like laughing. Seems pretty gross.
Never taking his gaze off you, he reaches under the counter, loses his balance, and clips his chin on the desktop as he falls down. A full minute later, he reappears, grimly rubbing his jaw with a thick logbook. He thumbs through it for a long period, squinting nearsightedly. Eventually, he gives up the struggle and reluctantly puts on his glasses. The silver finally stops and pins down a particular page with his finger.
Now, this is your first uniform requisition, right? You can also purchase any equipment you need for the desert directly from me.
Yeah, just give me the stuff that I have to get from you.
Maynard smiles at you over his glasses, practically stripping you naked with his gaze.
Your
Ugh.
voice is enchanting, my lady. I could listen to it forever. Right now, you need to listen to me. I am going to give you some instructions. These are the rules.
Please stop.
The silver puts his glasses back on, embarrassed.
Yes, milady. I mean, I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
He awkwardly raps the counter with his fingers, as if not knowing what to do with his hands. All of his confidence seems to be gone.
Let's return to the briefing. Do you want to hear it, or shall we proceed directly to uniform distribution?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Sidney fiddles with his hairstyle.
So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Life under the dome can be dangerous. You may get shot, spill acid on yourself, get electrocuted, or suffer the effects of a dangerous anomaly. You may also freeze to death or get fried.
What are these going to tell me? Mechanical damage. Okay. Okay, so this is mapping this thing he said onto a game mechanic for me. Yeah, that's kind of what all of these are doing. That's neat. I'm not going to read every one of those, but I can sort of imagine what they are. Hopefully I can get to that stuff if and when I need it.
That's why it's important to wear protective equipment when traveling outdoors. Of course, in hazardous situations, the equipment will get damaged, and the more it's damaged, the more often one has to repair it.
The silver steps back from his counter to indicate the repair kit boxes piled in the back of the warehouse. He points back at the shelves behind him.
We've got repair kits for this gear. There are Blue Wing specialists ready to help you at any large base, of course, but they're not always available. So, you'd better learn how to use repair kits and workbenches on your own. It's a useful skill.
Sidney rests the logbook on the desk.
That's all the instructions. Now, I'm going to issue your uniform.
The silver disappears into the back for a while and returns with a small package. Unfolding the package, Maynard shows you a brand spanking new uniform.
The pronunciation Maynard is throwing me off just a little bit.
Sidney proudly shakes out a bright white jacket. It more resembles a thick mantle than a lab coat.
Look, this is the most advanced clothing under the dome. It protects from acid, aggressive fauna, and radiation. Not very effectively, though. Don't expect miracles.
He raises a finger.
One more important thing. In accordance with Order 16-225, helmets and gloves are not issued, but they're available for purchase from me. Please bear in mind that a full set includes headgear or a mask, Jacket, trousers, gloves, and boots.
Okay, so does that mean I need to purchase that from you? The dome is isolated from the outside world, and therefore provisions, household items, equipment, and weapons are of particular value. Perhaps that is why the culture of barter is so developed here. You can not only buy the necessary stuff for money, but also exchange them for something you don't need. Just remember that not all residents of the dome are willing to trade with you, and the price at which you can buy something is always higher than the price at which you can sell it.
Sydney hands you the package.
Here's your uniform. Enjoy.
Cool. I guess I should at least look at what he has.
Waggles his eyebrows.
Anything up to a star in the sky, my dear. Here, take a look.
Trade is an important element of Encased. While playing, you will meet characters who you can trade with, either by choosing the related dialogue option or by clicking the barter button in the dialogue interface.
Sydney scribbles something in his logbook.
Please come back anytime if you need something.
I mean, I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. So this is what I've been given so far. I've got the boots, I've got the trousers, I've got the lab coat. So I need a helmet and some kind of gloves. I don't know what kind of gloves. Maybe this helmet that gives me several resistances. Yeah, maybe it would be best to wait and try to figure out what I will be doing so I can kind of have a better idea of what would be useful. But maybe I should equip these. Nice, the equipment is reflected on your character, that's cool. Now what? I guess I go, maybe I should talk to this person.
What do you want?
You see a slim, cheekbony silver woman with a red warning lamp in her hands. On the lapel of her perfectly ironed suit is a badge that says Anna Leroy, Administrator. The girl waves her lamp in the air, trying to attract some attention. Valued employees, according to the Administrative Order of September 14th, 1976, the waiting area may be accessed through the regular staff corridor. Please be advised that this rule does not apply to newly arrived employees. She pauses and begins to cough. Shit, I should cut down on the smokes. Good day, new employee. The silver nods like she's depressed. She seems to have just noticed you. I guess I'll ask this, if I can go through the hall to the waiting room. She gives you a gentle poke on the chest with her warning lamp, forcing you to take a step back. Am I speaking gibberish or what? This rule does not apply to newbies. You need to go through training and... Oh, this is a cough. Okay. She begins to cough. Yeah, let's just...
I hope to see you again soon.
let her do that.
Anything urgent, Mr. Quenton?
Katarzyna, did you mark it as class 1 again instead of 2? Look, here's the
It's weird that some of the ambient dialogue is spoken. Every bit of dialogue
Still class 1. I'm not going
up
violate
to that person we just talked to was voiced, but hers was not. It'll be interesting to see going forward how much is voiced and how much is not. Okay, is this going to be weapons, I assume?
The smell of good tobacco wafts off this tall, portly woman from a meter away. A black lacquered pipe, an open logbook full of signatures, and a metal flip calendar sit on the counter in front of her. A small nameplate reads, Margarita Tkachenko. The woman fixes her coppery hair with one hand and casually lights her pipe.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Her voice is deep and gravelly.
I will take my weapon.
Margarita thumbs back a couple of pages in her logbook.
I see. This was your first receipt.
She glances at her Kairos, looks at you, snorts, and retreats to the shelves. Tkachenko returns a couple of minutes later, carrying something that looks more like a toy than a weapon. The weapon seems weightless as she spins it around her finger.
I ain't telling you shit about this thing, cause that's exactly how much I know. Laser, schmazer, cadmium battery, fiberglass body, blah 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 blah. You probably know more about it than I do. Here.
Back in my day, guns had gunpowder in them and lead. They shot chunks of lead at people. Yeah, let's accept it carefully.
Margarita drags on her pipe and releases a puff of thick, yellow smoke.
I see you know the rules and won't cause problems.
I guess we could ask about servicing it.
The black regards the Andromeda suspiciously.
Fuck it. If it breaks, bring it back and I'll trade it in for another one. There was a little cloth in the box it came in for cleaning the lens. That's all I know.
Okay.
The armorer shrugs, puffing indifferently on her pipe.
It's the least I could do. We have a requisition list from the Silvers. For free, you receive only rubbish. If you want the real deal, check out the weaponry shop. Or me.
Rubbish is an item quality. Okay.
Wait a minute. Sign your name here in the meantime.
Margarita reaches under her counter and produces a set of ammunition.
A new set of ammo is issued for every task, but there's so much bureaucracy you'll go daft. Expenditure report. Form number 16. Disposal form. The Silver's running true to form. So if you need more ammo, I recommend you either search or barter for it. Or learn how to craft it on your own. These are useful skills. Trust me.
That sounds like good advice.
Leaning over the counter, the black points somewhere off to one side.
Now it's time for your training. Fatherby is already waiting for you by the big gate. He's a bit dotty, but a good man nonetheless. But before the training zone, go see that wizard guy with his toothpicks. Be careful around him, though. Don't let him pitch you a line. Psychic my ass.
She winces in disgust.
Psi energy and psi abilities became a serious matter of discussions soon after the first experiments with the Forefathers technologies. According to official data, today more than 78.4% of people under the dome exhibit psi abilities of various intensities that allow one to use tele and pyrokinetics and to influence the interlocutor in one way or another. Fortunately, most of these abilities are weak. Scientists have found that for the presence of abilities, as well as for the ability to apply them or feel their use by others, a special characteristic of the body named psych is responsible. Okay. Encased has several modifiable keys that will make your gameplay much more comfortable. Hold down Shift to view a more detailed tooltip for an item. Hold Control to attack characters and doors. Hold Alt to highlight interactive objects and objects lying on the ground. Okay, so that's Control. What was Shift again? A more detailed tooltip. So far that doesn't seem to be doing anything. Maybe that's... Nope. I'm not seeing that do anything. I should probably equip this. Okay. You mean we could get some janitor's gear?
They'll take the appropriate measures.
The game world is vast and divided into many separate locations, some of which may be temporarily inaccessible. Transitions between locations usually look like doors sealing off a darkened area, hatches, or specially marked areas. If the way is free, click on them and the character will open the portal and move through. Not sure how that's relevant to the janitor's cart that I clicked on, but I could take a mop. I could take a mop as my secondary weapon.
I hate those oranges. What the hell do they break locks for?
An engineer in a bright blue jacket is tinkering with the door lock, cursing under his breath non-stop. Blowing a curly strand of hair off his forehead, he turns to you.
You're a newcomer, right? It's a straight-up open house here today.
He offers you his hand. According to his badge, this is Maxim Penkovsky, technician. The technician slaps the door with one hand.
You have to wait until I'm done. Some orange jammed up the lock with chewing gum just for a laugh. They're like animals, those oranges, marking their territory. If you ask me, they're too gracious about those bastards in Crystal Sands.
Is there another way to get through?
Penkovsky chuckles.
Looks like you don't get it. Tons of relics pass through Concord. The base is laid out to make everyone walk a single route, with the top level as separate as possible from the bottom. You get the memo?
Oh, it's the dreaded IKEA layout.
He turns back to the lock.
So in the meantime, take a load off. Have a coffee. Loosen up. Watch the storm through the window. You'll be seeing a lot of those out here.
Maxime extracts a thin, sharp, precision probe from behind his ear and dangles it in front of you.
Though there's another way. You want to learn something about picking locks? It's a useful skill in all sorts of situations.
He looks at you expectantly.
Yeah, of course.
The blues getting excited.
All right, looky here.
Penkovsky presses his pick lock, and an odd device resembling a hybrid of a screwdriver and a can opener into your hand.
Using a mechanical pick lock is easy peasy. No special skill required. They wear out after a few locks. While the old-fashioned kind is another thing entirely. Cheap, one use. But one has to know how to use it right. That's a tool for a master.
Maxime takes out another pick lock and crouches by the door. He gives you a quick lesson on how to pick a lock.
By the way, you can carry your tools in your belt. It's much handier to have them right there.
Penkovsky shows you his utility belt, where he keeps all kinds of tools and gadgets.
Each Cronus employee has a versatile belt in which one may carry and quickly access medical supplies, tools, and other equipment. The belt is accessible from your inventory in the lower right corner of the character panel.
Actually, finding tools under the dome is no problem at all. There are even devices for hacking terminals and so on.
Maxime hoists up his belt. The blue solemnly raises his index finger.
And one more thing. Always use brand name stuff if you can. Groovy produces good kits. Modus and Supercolor do too. They've all got fat contracts with Cronus, so they care about quality.
He looks at the door again.
Damn these locks. Though I'd rather be doing this than fixing hab pods. Those are a real pain in the ass.
What's wrong with the hab pods?
Penkovsky gives you a patronizing look.
Because they're poorly made, warped from the heat, and the filters aren't worth a damn. The modules were constructed by marketing managers, not engineers. Building a city in the desert was also their idea. This project is all about PR. Cronus wants to show the world how tough they are.
Locks and lockpicking. Throughout the game, you will come across locked doors or containers. Fortunately, they can be unlocked. Use right button on a locked door and select the desired ability from the list. The use of special lockpicks increases the chance of success, but those usually deplete rather quickly. In addition, you can break down the door with brute force, or if there is a terminal nearby, try to open the door with it.
I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt. And
Oh,
then,
I need to do that.
apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word.
Apply. Here's the lockpick. And oh, it's already in the tool belt, right? Right here? Yeah, it's already there.
Just don't forget to pick up your uniform and weapons. It'll be awkward for you if the door gets stuck again.
I've already done that.
Welcome Under the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information, useful for all wings, and receive a colorful leaflet.
Okay.
Welcome Under the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new... Oh, hello there.
The young woman's polished badge reads Letizia Rivarez. She's carrying a stack of glossy leaflets under her arm. You see another stack of leaflets on a nearby armchair. She pounces on you. Welcome to the Dome. I have information useful for every scientist and researcher. The silver smiles broadly. My name is Letizia Rivarez. Give me 5 minutes of your precious time and I'll tell you about the remarkable career opportunities and breathtaking perspectives awaiting you under the Dome. Don't turn me down. This is important. This sounds like a waste of time. I'm gonna try this. She looks offended. Oh no. Maybe you could just take a leaflet? She asks hesitantly, her lips trembling slightly. Sure, I'll take a leaflet. Why not? You take a glossy leaflet with a colorful picture on the cover. White and pink houses, palm trees, and luxurious cars. You can't actually find all these things under the Dome, though the picture is beautiful. Letizia summons a smile and sniffles. Welcome to the Dome. The dream of humanity come to life, she says in a shaky voice.
I hope to see you again soon.
Okay. Now who is this? Sebastian Van Olden. I think this is going to be both better for the channel and worse, or as bad as I originally anticipated. It's better because the presentation of this game is so nice with the voice acting and everything. But also, it looks like it's going to take a while to get into this game. I doubt I'll even really get into it before I end up ending this video. But for me, as the player of this, I feel like I already can see that this is something I can get some enjoyment out of. So maybe even if I cut the video off right here, it would serve that same purpose for you too, to let you know whether it's something you'll enjoy. This desk is a bit different from the others on this floor. It's covered with a thick layer of cellular glass treated with luminophore. Every little point on the surface emits a weak yellow light, some of them glowing brighter and some dimmer. The worktop has a huge built-in digital display. Rows of glowing points form a detailed map of the area under the dome. You touch the screen with your fingertips and the static makes the hairs on your arm rise. This is the original Microsoft Surface. I don't know if you know this, but the Microsoft Surface used to be a different thing than what it is now. It used to be a table that had a touch screen as the surface of the table. And you could find them in some hotels and stuff like that. And then they sort of turned it, and they recycled the brand as a different consumer product, tablet PC and later even weird hybrid tablet PC laptops. But originally it was a touch table similar to this. I think I first saw one in 2009 when I went to PAX in Seattle, the hotel there, or one of the hotels had one. This is weird. I don't know why I would pick any one of these over any of the others. Yeah, this is not useful. Let's go talk to Sebastian.
You see a tall scientist in a white lab coat, bathed in the dim lamplight. He almost appears to be hovering above the laboratory floor. The man turns at your footsteps. He's holding a paper clipboard and a pencil. His shimmering silver badge reads Sebastian Van Olden. He glances from you to the glittering watch on his wrist.
I want us to respect one another's time. Please speak loudly, clearly, and to the point. You must be the newcomer I was told about. Nice to meet you.
Finished with his unusual greeting, he offers you his thin hand.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place.
Okay, I will greet him. Tell him I'm here for the briefing.
The scientist puts the clipboard aside, raises his watch for a closer look, and sets the timer. He shows you his watch dial.
According to the rules of this briefing, I have to touch on a large number of topics. Therefore, I will do so very briefly. Do not interrupt me. When I'm finished, I'll answer your questions. Within regulations, of course.
All right.
Sebastian produces his handheld and clicks some buttons.
I checked your scanner. It's working and is connected to the Minerva database. Everything you scan will earn you Kronos or Forefathers knowledge points.
A decentralized computing system that facilitates information flow throughout the dome, created by Siamese twins Sid and Phil, and that certainly was reflected in its design. How do you reflect that in the design of a computing system? I'm interested to learn what that means.
The instructor watches you with displeasure.
Are you listening? Scan everything that might be of scientific interest. First of all, anomalies. They could be dangerous. Make sure to always have medication with you.
This scanning, if it is actually a mechanic, which I assume it is based on this, could become tedious, but for the moment I find it kind of exciting. I'm getting flashes of Metroid Prime, even though this game is completely different from that.
He places a canvas pouch in your hand.
This pouch is full of bolts. You can temporarily discharge an anomaly by throwing a bolt into it. It's primitive, but reliable.
Van Olden pushes a button on his stopwatch.
So, my oral briefing fell within the allotted span of time. Any questions you want to ask me?
Yeah, how do you scan objects?
Sebastian pulls a scanner from his pocket.
I will demonstrate this only once. To switch on the scanner, press the button on the right side of the manipulator housing. The scanning beam is narrow. It's intended to focus on one object at a time.
Attention.
Van Olden turns on the scanner and continues.
My advice is to scan anything that might be of scientific or statistical interest. Relics, forefathers' objects, automatic doors, vehicles, vending machines, deceased employees.
Ugh. Scanning the remains of Kronos employees helps keep the human resources base up to date. By scanning the corpse, you get access to personal correspondence of the deceased, as well as information about the cause of death and date of death. The dead who do not have a special chip operating as a black box cannot be scanned.
He turns the screen so you can see it.
The scanner automatically transmits data to the Minerva system, and you receive knowledge points. Do you have any questions, or can we proceed to the practical part of our briefing?
Let's go to practice. Maybe this is where they tell me, the player, how to scan things?
The scientist glances at his watch again.
You're within the time limit for questions. The next step is training in the artificial eco zone.
He rests one finger on the button in preparation to start the timer.
You're going to go downstairs and scan relics. I will be monitoring your progress. Please note there are several radioactive anomalies in the eco zone. These are the same conditions you'll be working in the field. Radioactive zones and relics are quite common under the dome.
He smoothly extracts a jar of yellow pills from his pocket.
Here's your Arad 3. And one more thing. Just a moment.
I guess in a weird, sort of sick way, it's comforting to know that people also hate their jobs in the imagined future of this game.
An amazing excursion. New world. Technology.
Did I miss something? What am I supposed to be doing? I guess I go here.
An amazing excursion.
Please stand by for decontamination to end.
Oh, this looks cool. You have the scanning ability. To perform a scanning, select the ability in the panel, and then click on the object that you want to scan. For each successful scan, you receive knowledge points, and the data obtained in the process is stored in your Kairos, which we get to with the X key. Oh, yeah, okay.
Van Olden gestures back at the eco zone.
You haven't completed scanning everything yet. Finish the task first.
Yeah, I don't actually know how to do that. Okay, here we go. So I can right-click and do that, I guess, or I can probably do this and then click on something. Oh, okay. I'm going to actually go down there. The world under the dome is full of strange and hazardous phenomena called anomalies. Most of them can injure, kill, or irradiate you. To detect and temporarily deactivate the anomaly, use the bolt throwing ability. Oh yeah, that is what they said. Bolt throwing.
Journal entry. A successful scanning attempt. You're doing all right so far. Go ahead. I'll keep an eye on you and make sure you don't screw it up.
Okay. What is N1? N1. I'm assuming there's some sort of shortcut key that they're calling N1. But I don't know what that would be. Well, let's just scan this. Oh, I'm picking up radiation.
Two objects scanned. And again, watch out for anomalies. Touch one and you'll be injured. Toss a bolt at the anomaly to discharge it.
Can I toss it through two of them? No, it hits only one. Oh. Why can't I just cross? Why do I have to go all the way out and go to the other side? It looks like you could pass through right there. Why didn't she just do that? Was it because of where I clicked? Also, I don't quite understand this. It's like there's another bar under here. Oh, okay. That's kind of... It's a little weird, but it's also kind of neat that you can see just sort of a little preview of what you'll get from the other weapon, your secondary weapon. Okay, I've scanned 3 things. Can I scan anything else? I think I've scanned pretty much everything here. Okay, let's see if Sebastian is happy now.
Sebastian meets you on the platform.
Your finishing time is within the acceptable range.
He clicks the stopwatch button, fixing the result time.
Let's wait and see.
The scientist turns back to his notes.
Not bad. One question. You observed several anomalies while scanning. Why do you think they appeared? I'd like to hear your opinion.
I guess we'll formulate a hypothesis based on the scanner beam's wave structure.
The scientist assumes a superior expression.
I knew you'd come up with something like that. I see you understand nothing about the nature of anomalies. So let me add a couple of points.
He glances at the shimmering blue light in the eco-zone.
The truth is, we don't know the precise reason for these phenomenon either. We actually know nothing, no matter how much we try to convince ourselves otherwise.
Sebastian points a thin finger at the clustered lightning.
I personally believe that the anomalies are the dome's security mechanism. The ones you saw are relatively harmless, but there are different anomalies in the desert, phenomenon that toy with the human mind.
Van Olden clasps his hands behind his back.
I know you don't care, but I'll say it anyway. Scientists today are required to be wonder workers who can heal cancer with a wave of their hand and solve the secrets of the universe during their coffee break. For some reason, no one wants to understand that fundamental science is always an investment in the future. It produces no answers here and now.
The White's gaze strays back to his clipboard.
If something terrible happens under the dome one day, and I'm sure it will, science will protect no one. That is all. Off you go.
You'll be lying by a swimming pool, sipping
Okay. What now? We mastered the relic scanner. What are we to do next? I guess we can come back through.
Please stand by for decontamination to end.
New world technology.
Do we need to talk to him again?
The scientist looks up at you.
Off you go. I'll send a message to the administrator that you received your briefing.
Okay. And now I'm assuming we go here? In accordance with the Cronus Charter, company employees are required to undergo all necessary briefings before going outside the walls of the Concord station. For your Selectron to work and the turnstile to let you through, you need to get equipment, weapons, learn how to manage psi abilities, go through combat training at the training zone, and learn how to use a scanner. So it sounds like there are at least 2 things we still need to do, so maybe we go this way instead?
As you can see, there are endless salt pans in the western region behind me. The sun reflects blindingly from the salt, and the air is as dry as a
Well, normally about this time into the video I would say I think this is a good place to cut it off. I don't actually think that at this point. I think this is a terrible place to cut it off in the middle of the tutorial, but I think I am done for the moment recording this video. I do think I have a decent idea of what this game looks like. I haven't experienced combat yet, so that's a big question mark still, but I really like what I'm seeing so far, and maybe combat isn't that big a deal in this game anyway. I would kind of appreciate that, actually. But if this is inspired by Fallout, probably not likely. I think Fallout put quite a bit of emphasis on combat. Anyway, though, really nice presentation. It looks good. The voice acting is a nice touch. And the writing's pretty good. It's cool. Seems cool. I want to play more of this. That is Encased. So check it out if it looks like it might be good for you. Thank you for watching. and I will see you next time.